are coming to you today.
Yeah.
We are the Red Champion today.
We are, so normally we come to you on Tuesday nights and we bring our champions on and we talk about how amazing they are and we expose them to you all. Well, one of our champions mentioned to us that, you guys haven't talked about you as champions. And I said, well, you know what, we haven't. But I think what's appropriate right now and who we are and what we do, it's time for us to have the conversation. And so we're always on purpose about being, doing things at the right time in the right moment with the right amount of, impact so that we leave an imprint. So today is that day. So welcome to Red Light with the Women of Red Development Group. I am Collette Portis and my amazing co-host is?
And I am Reggi Sturns-Kemp.
Yes, and so yes, we're using a virtual background and we both keep disappearing. It's our magic trick. It's okay. Sometimes you can hear us and not see us, and sometimes you can see us and hear us. But guess what? It's fancy though, right? So anyway, let's talk. We'll start by kind of giving an introduction of ourselves because some of you may not know who we are and what we do and why we do it and what gives us the authority to go and do what we do anyway. Who are we to say that we can do what we do? So I am Collette Portis. I am a serial entrepreneur. I own multiple companies. One is a publishing company, so I publish independent authors and help them to tell their stories and help them to own and maintain full rights to their intellectual property, which is absolutely important. I also own a branding company and I have a team over there that is awesome. They do amazing work and they help me to help small businesses put their best face forward. And then I'm a partner with Miss Reggi Kemp over here in Red Development Group, which is a global business development firm where we focus on helping you to grow your business, maintain predictable profits, and leave a lasting legacy and understand the multiple ways that can be done. And so I started my first business at the age of 14. And I got 6 degrees. I don't necessarily recommend that, but I do. And I've worked, I mean, Fortune 100, 500, federal government, K-12, higher education, all of that. And so all of that experience has given me the skills that I need to help you go from small to medium to large to enterprise to legacy.
And so for me, and Collette too, I think we're both 3rd or 4th generation entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. And so I have a degree from Clark Atlanta University that is a HBCU.
Hello.
It is now time to make HBCU popular again,
Yes.
right? Okay, so nonetheless, so my degree is in business management, but I have 2 degrees. I have one in design and one in business. And for years, I operated a design firm and also a cleaning firm. But at this time, I am now an advocate for the cleaning industry, and I have managed over $23 million in contracts. So my background in business lies there, but my true passion is to make sure that people that are in business are able to develop their businesses. So that is who I am, and I am excited to be here this evening, and we have a lot, we feel like, to share.
We do. So we are on purpose. We are advocates for economic strength. We understand how having a strong economic base as an individual, as a company, as a city, state, country, whatever, is oftentimes where a lot of your power lies. And so we're on purpose about that. And we have conversations all the time. The majority of our clients are women. And You know, Reggie, one of the things that I learned in working on my dissertation, which was on women and in finance, was that women are 68%, it's either 68% or 48%, it's been a while, behind men in wealth development.
Right.
And so that was scary for me. And so we have lots of conversation with women about how do we make sure that alongside our husbands, we are, if we're not helping to necessarily build the wealth, we do understand it and understand where it's coming from. And we understand that, we understand, who we need to talk to if there ever come a time where our spouses, or if we don't have a spouse, if there ever comes a time that we needed to have that conversation, who we needed to talk to. And so we want to talk tonight a little bit about how to build a strong business and why it's important. Because one of the things that I am an advocate for is actually building a business rather than owning your job. And there are a lot of us who own our jobs. And my story goes with my family, a lot of them own their jobs and they no longer have the businesses. And now that they're older, they're not generating any revenue from those amazing businesses that they started and built. So I want to make sure that I help people to not make the same mistake.
Right. And you made a comment. You said your family owned their job. And I know for some people they may say, well, what does that mean? But oftentimes it's real important that you keep good records.
Yeah.
Because in order for you to own a business and then possibly sell the business, or for it to make any monetary sense or value to you, you have to have something to prove.
Yeah.
It's not enough that you just can say that I was a multi-million-dollar or whatever. You need to make sure you have the books to back that up.
Absolutely. Well, and one of the things that we've seen, we've just had so much going on in the last, since 2020 started. And I still believe that 2020 is going to be amazing, because anytime you have this much going on, the wins got to be just as big, as the losses are. And so one of the things that we saw with the whole pandemic happening is when funds were distributed from the relief package, there were a lot of people who couldn't get it because they didn't have records.
That's right.
It simply came down to that. Like, I don't have the paperwork. I don't have the tax documents. I don't have the proof that I've actually been operating this business. And so documentation beats conversation.
It really does.
Every day.
It really does. And the reality is we really understand personal development. We understand personal maintenance.
Yes.
We'll go get our hair done or did, nails done. But when it comes to being an entrepreneur, you have to understand business development.
Yes.
You have to be consistent about first of all, you have to come up with the plan.
Yes.
Then be consistent about working the plan.
Yes.
Right. And so I think oftentimes we start the business and we understand that we met a need, but as entrepreneurs, I think we have to be realistic with ourselves and say that we don't know everything. And because you don't know everything, if you plan on building that business for it to last, because statistics show, and at least in 2016, 2017, statistics show that 70% of the businesses that start, they last, 20?
What do you mean?
75% of the businesses fail within the first 2 years, 70% fail within the first 2 years, 50 fail within the first 5, 35 within the first 10, and then 25 in the first 25. So in order for you to make it to year 10, you have to put a plan in place.
Yeah.
And I would venture to say that most of those companies that were in the 70% range, it wasn't because they didn't have a good product.
Yes. Yeah. One of my mentors would always say to us, for those of you who live in Texas and know something about Whataburger, he would always ask the question, who has the better burger, Whataburger or McDonald's? And everybody says Whataburger. Everybody says Whataburger. And then you think about how many Whataburgers are there. which some of you probably have never heard of Whataburger, but all of us have heard of McDonald's. Regardless of whether or not they have the best burger, what is their plan?
Right.
And McDonald's plan, if you haven't watched The Founder, you should if you're a business owner, because it's a great movie for business owners. But one of the things that Ray Kroc was on purpose about was we are not necessarily a burger company. We're a real estate company.
Right.
We own real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And so because they own real estate, they're in almost every country on this planet. Like, you know, they've gotten so big that they don't even say, you know, it used to be 1 million burgers sold.
Right.
Now there is no number in front of it anymore. It's just billions of burgers.
That's right.
So, you know what I'm saying?
Burgers.
Burgers, you know, but right.
Real meat.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, it's like, but how do you get there, even though your product may not say, but if you have a good product, people have to know that, but you have to be on purpose and you have to have a mission for what you're doing and why you're doing it and where you are going. And so Reggie pointed out that you need to have a plan. And one of the things that we talk about all the time is you can have a dream, but at some point you got to wake up. Mm-hmm. And once you wake up, then what? Mm-hmm. Did you write the dream down? Mm-hmm. Did you write the dream down? And then did you create a plan that will help you to get from today to the realization of the dream? Mm-hmm. If the answer is no, that's where you start. And I am not talking about a business plan.
Right.
A traditional business plan is not what we're talking about.
No, it's not.
Yeah, because it doesn't give you the steps. It doesn't tell you what to do every day. It doesn't tell you your teams what they should be doing every day.
Right. You know, and another thing that I would like to get your viewpoint on, and then I'll share mine too, is, you know, what is business development and why is it, why is it important to you? Why is it that you felt, why you give me your reason for wanting to join in this effort?
So to answer the first question, okay, no, I'm going to answer the questions backwards. I'm going to answer my reason first, and then I'll tell you what business development is. So my reason is I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My mom, my dad, both sets of grandparents, aunts, uncles, all entrepreneurs. And I grew up in that environment. I didn't really see anybody go to work every day because that's just not what we did. You know, we went to our businesses every day. And those who are my family members will vouch for the fact that in the summertime, we were at the beach. We're from Michigan. We were at the beach every day, every day. And then after we left the beach, then our families went back to their respective businesses and did their work. And the next day we got up and we went back to the beach. That was our life. They had that sort of freedom. And they were really exceptional at what they did. They weren't just good. They were exceptional at what they did. And as they aged, we began to see the businesses close. And the work predominantly was done by whoever it was that owned the business. And there was no team in there helping them. There was, you know, you didn't see the tax accountant come by. You didn't, you know, you didn't hear anybody coming by and talking about advertising or anything like that. But you also didn't, you know, my grandfather owned an auto body shop. And I know, you know, if a car needed to be taped in order to be painted, my grandfather and my father taped and painted the car. Like they did all of the functions inside of the business. And so they never built a team. And so they owned their jobs. And so about 2 months after my grandfather passed away, so did the business.
So there was no legacy.
There was no legacy.
But there was nothing left. You know, and I think for me, did you have more to say on that? Oh, you did you say yes or no? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was going to jump in.
No, so what I learned in that time, and so I started my first business at 14. And what I came to understand just by watching my aunts in the salon is there's supply and demand. You got to know how much supply to have to meet the demand. You got to keep a schedule, all of that kind of stuff. You got to have something to show your work, all of those kind of things. And so I started to do that at 14. And then when I became an adult, I started my business And it was just what naturally came to me, but it was also what I did when I was in corporate America. They would give me a job description and I'd work there for 30 days. And then anybody who's worked with me would say, Collette was off doing things that caused the business to grow. It didn't matter what company I was. I worked for Sprint, I worked for T-Mobile, I worked for the federal government, I worked for Big Brothers, Big Sisters. I've worked for all of these different companies, and it didn't matter what they told me to do. My gift is business growth. And so I did that everywhere that I went. And what I learned once I started my business as an adult was that businesses oftentimes are jobs that we own. And so when I got my own set of clients, I realized that I needed to help them to survive.
Right.
And so that's why I'm in business development, because I don't want anybody's story or legacy to be what mine was with my family. I had to start from zero and I shouldn't have had to.
Right.
And I don't think our kids should have to.
Well, and not only did you start from zero, but I think a lot of African Americans, and not just African Americans, but I think a lot of times people in our family have laid a strong foundation, but then they did not put the right documentation in place. They may have said what they intended to happen, but because you don't complete your will and your trust and there are certain documents that you need to have in place. And if you have a will or a trust, but then no one knows where anything else is, like where is the money? It doesn't matter. So, for me, business development was very important because I, like Collette, everything that, first of all, I too was slave labor. My family owned and operated a business. And so I started working within the business very early, 12. And then, I started doing things with my grandfather. And then when I saw that I could work in the summer and make money, oh my God. And so that was it, entrepreneurship was planted deep within me. And so as I went through life, I knew that I would never work for somebody, although I did. But I went there with an intent to learn everything that I was supposed to learn because I was going to apply it to my business. So I never went in with, with the pictures of the babies and the dogs. And, I never went in with that. I went in with the purpose of being there for, a year or two, whatever. And with the government, I stayed a little longer than I should have. However, when I left, I was excited to leave. But nonetheless, so I've had different companies over the years, but each one that I've had, I grew it. I understood that I wasn't just in business just to be in business. And I wasn't in business just to use it as my personal bank account. Right. And so understanding what it took to achieve the level of so-called success that I did achieve within those companies or organizations. But at each step, each time the company grew, or each time I was faced with a major challenge, I felt like I had no real place to go. Well, that's not true. I went to certain places, but it was like taking care of one thing. I had an array of things that needed to be addressed and covered. And not only did I have one question, I had, a question about this that led to 5 other things. And I've always been a person that's had more than one company at one time. So if you aren't used to enterprise then it's hard for you to coach me or lead me or whatever. And so, as time went on, God would send me certain individuals or whatever, but there would be large time spans between that. And so as I closed one chapter of my life and what I experienced in that closing process, I had built a company. It was a very successful company, and I had arranged for it to be sold. And then life would have it that my life partner at that time had different things going on in his life. And so that sale did not happen. And so everything that I experienced as a business owner within me, I thought nobody will have to go through this, right? No, they won't.
At least if they come across your path.
Okay, so I know that I can't, I know that I could only do what I can do within my sphere. But Red Development Group, it is a global
Yes.
company.
Yes.
And I believe that if you lay the foundation and you grow it, you must understand that you're doing it for a purpose. And so the two things or the three things that I took away from what I experienced is that every business owner should understand that if they started the business, they should have an option on what happens to that business.
Yes.
Meaning that if you decide that you want to sell the business, or if you want to give the business to your children, or you want to leave it to your employees, if you've put forth the blood, sweat, and equity in it, then it should yield a return.
Yes. So part of the reason we decided that we wanted to have this conversation is because right now we've got a lot of small business owners that are closing their doors. And one of the things that we know for sure, and that we're on purpose about at Red Development Group, is there are a lot of people closing their doors that could potentially sell their business.
Okay, this is what concerns me, is that when you purchase a house, you understand that you purchased that house and you have the opportunity to sell that house.
Yes.
And the whole time you're in that house, you're going to make sure that you do what's necessary to keep the value of that house up.
Yes.
When you buy a car, that car does not appreciate, right? But you still do everything you can to keep that car up.
Yes.
But when you have a business, I can count on one hand how many people I talk to that are in business that are talking to me about what they're going to do to position their business to sell. Or, okay, let's not even talk about the sale, and heaven forbid you say exit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they think that you're trying to get rid of them or whatever. But let's forget about the word sale, exit. Let's just talk legacy.
Yeah.
What are you going to leave? No, I'm sorry, not legacy, the monetary value.
Yeah.
Do you know the monetary value of your company?
Yeah. Because if you have one, if you started it today, it has value.
It has value.
What is it? If you've been around for 15, 10, 20 years, what's the value of it? How much is it worth? Because you probably have a book of business that is worth some money to somebody. Even if you sold it for $500 or $5,000 or $50,000 or $5 million, what you have is worth something. But do you know what it's worth? And a lot of times, if we don't know what it's worth, then we don't treat it with the proper value because we have no idea what it's worth.
Right. And then sometimes you think what it's worth is just what you're billing.
Yeah, no.
That has nothing to do with the monetary value of your company. And so, I am not in the generation that just totally embraces social media, right? Like, so even this is I'm coming into.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but the important thing about you building a great social following is that all of that matters when it comes to your monetary value, the branding, your social capital.
Yes.
Everything you do matters.
Yes.
And it is then tabulated into your monetary value. So don't let anybody tell you, oh, you're only billing 10 million a month. That's not necessarily true.
Right.
Not necessarily true. And then there are certain things that you need to do to make sure that your monetary value is always increasing.
Yes.
You don't want to have a client that you bill 70 or 80 or 90% of your business.
Yes. Yeah. Because and because there's a couple of us out here that contract with the government, and the government is sometimes their only client,
or even Walmart
or whoever.
Yeah.
Never count on one client, because for a lot of those who contract with the government and things like that, when we had a shutdown, they had a shutdown. But guess what? When you had that shutdown, the work had to continue. So you had to be responsible for paying, but this was your only customer. And so you're in a bind because you were banking on this one customer, and your survival is based on this one customer.
Right.
So I want to take a step back just for a moment, because we've talked about quite a bit. ask the question, do you know what stage of business your business is in? Do you are like a lot of times people aren't even aware that there are stages of business.
Right.
And so we function and everybody is a startup. But that is not true. Startup is not the first stage of business. Seed stage is the first stage of business. And a lot of times we're calling ourselves startup, but we don't have an advisory board or a board of directors, or we don't even have a separate bank account for our business.
What?
And God forbid you have an LLC and you don't have a separate bank account.
Right.
I'll come back and have that conversation with y'all later.
That's an episode.
That's a whole episode. You know what I'm saying? So, trust me. If you want to send me a comment and say why isn't it an emergency?
Right.
That if I have an LLC, I have a separate business bank account for it.
Right.
By all means, I'm begging you to send me the question, because I promise you I will answer you, and it probably will be shocking. And sometimes it's so shocking that it means that you have to completely close out that LLC and start a whole new one. What? You mean to tell me we have to do that? So what stage of business are you in? Where is your business at? What is it doing? But even with all of that, let's go back, because we started talking about the plan and having a plan for your business. And let's
call it a business strategy.
Let's call it a business strategy. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's call it a business strategy, right? Because that's exactly what it is. And so we understand when our military is going on an exercise, the war, whatever they're doing, they have a strategy. They know how many soldiers they need, how many boots they need, how many meals they need, how many bullets they need, how many guns. They know all of that. As a business owner, you need to know that.
How many times does that troop go over the strategy?
Oh, come on now. Daily briefings.
Right.
Daily briefings. Now, your business plan is something different. That's what you go, these are all my hopes and dreams for my business. But your strategy is what you use as your daily briefing.
Right.
Are we still moving in the right direction? Did we take the step that we said we were going to take yesterday? Did we do that? Was the mission accomplished? So your strategy is absolutely pertinent. Now, let me tell you this. You can absolutely go make money. But let me tell you something else. Money is not the indicator of a sustainable, viable business. All money means is you were able to convince somebody to purchase your product or service. Yes, revenue is absolutely important in a business, most certainly important. However, it is not the main indicator that you have a healthy business. It is not. It might be number 3, but you've got to do, so there's so many other things. And so one of the things you heard both Reggie and I say is that we are serial entrepreneurs. We both have multiple businesses. Well, what we want you to know that is that our multiple businesses work hand in hand. So yeah, because we're not talking about that. When people say I need multiple streams of income, no.
Please give them an example.
Okay, so let me tell you. So here's the thing. Sometimes when we say we got multiple streams of income, I'm a realtor, I'm a hairdresser, I do photography, and I sell chicken dinners on Sunday. I got multiple streams of income. But let me ask you this. If you are doing all of that yourself, are you making sure that your tax information is correct in all of those places? How are you managing social media for all of those things? Do you have it for all of those things? And a lot of times what happens is we stretch ourselves thin. So we've got 5 different companies. So if you're giving 5 companies 100% of what you can give them, then that's what, 20%?
And then what happens when you can give no more?
And what happens when you can give no more?
When you get sick.
Yep. Then you've got 5 companies that are getting nothing. Or what happens when one company is just blowing up, or you had a team member who did something that they shouldn't be doing, or whatever your situation is. Once you have that, and you need to, I'm sorry guys, I'm going to take this background off because it's distracting. Once you have that, then you're taking all of your time and moving that time to the one business. And when you move that time to the one business, the other businesses suffer. And giving 20% to anything is not enough. And so when you're talking about multiple streams of income, that's about starting with one thing, keeping the main thing, focus on that thing, and that thing will tell you what the next thing is. And holding on to that thing under this one umbrella until that thing has outgrown it, like your kids outgrow your house and they move out. And then you move that to another business, but not doing all of this at the same time.
Right.
And a lot of times we lose focus.
Right.
And so we're not productive.
Right.
And so remember, we're talking about economic strength and stability.
Right.
And a lot of that, all of that is about planning. All of that is about your time, because it's the one thing you can't buy. I don't care how much money you have, you can't buy time. If y'all know where to buy time, somebody inbox me, because I want to buy some, you know. So, but you can't buy time. And so you have to be on purpose about your time. So for those of you who know, I have a radio show called Realize Destiny Radio. And today, Miss B. Dixon from the Honey Pot Company was on, and she said something really great.
She said a couple of
She said a lot of good stuff. So if you didn't hear it, tune in tomorrow, tapthemikradio.com, and listen to B. Dixon, who's phenomenal.
Yes.
But she said something that was really important about time. She said, I don't have time. She said, I have time to build and grow my business. She said, I have time for self-care, ladies.
Right.
Self-care, because if we're not caring for ourselves, then how do we suppose we're going to pour out to other people when we haven't taken care of ourselves? And so you don't have time for other stuff.
Well, I think what people have to be aware of is that there's something called an owner's trap. And so if you don't set the stage, if you don't create your business strategy and then follow your business strategy, you allow the day to take control. Like whatever circumstances, you allow them to take control. And then the next thing you know, it's one day, then it's 3 weeks, and it's 5 weeks. And then you look up and you're like, oh, I'm supposed to do that. Well, if you had your business strategy, you would have kept it in front of you. You would have been meeting with your team. You would have known what to do and when to do and how to do it. So it's very, very important that you do that. But you also said, when we were talking about business development, what concerns me right now is that there are, the U.S. economy is driven by small businesses. And I feel like for the last 2 months, small business owners have been preoccupied with PPP and not even able to operate their businesses. That's been one concern of mine. And then the other concern of mine for business owners is what I am clear about is that after COVID, the U.S. economy, things will be different. I don't know what that's going to look like. But when it comes to attorneys and doctors and hairstylists, and the only reason why I mention those is because in certain industries, you reach a certain level of success because you've made, a certain dollar amount. And oftentimes you may not have taken the time necessary to put certain things in place. And I think if I'm concerned about any particular industry, it's those industries. And the reason being is because oftentimes their revenue is based upon them interacting with their clients on a day-to-day basis. So they don't have recurring revenue set up or predictable income set up, nor in some cases are they recording well enough to qualify for certain things. I remember talking to a banker and he was telling me some of the clients that he hates to interact with sometimes fall into that category. And it's because they've reached it. No one else helped them to do what they needed to do, but in their certain professions, they know they are experts in that field,
Yeah.
but not necessarily accounting
Mm-hmm.
or finance
Mm-hmm.
or business
Mm-hmm.
structure or
Yeah.
management. You know, so if I'm concerned about any group of people, it's those
Yeah.
industries.
Yeah. And the other thing, I tell this story all the time about having a client who he came to me, he was ready to retire. He had 4 businesses. He had been in business for 43 years, and which was longer than I had been alive at that point. Or no, maybe I would have been. No, it was longer than I had been alive
I
at
have
that point.
nothing to say.
And he said, Collette, I'm ready to retire. And I said, all right, well, let's look and see what you got, see if you can do that. And I deployed this assessment that we use at Red Development Group to determine what stage your business is in. And when I deployed this assessment, now let me tell you this about this business owner. He had been in business for 43 years. His business valuation, meaning how much his business was worth, was $4.3 million. Over the last 10 years, he had consistently increased his profit by 10%. And when I deployed the assessment, he was at the seed stage. How does that happen?
Yeah.
Because according to most people's thought about sustainable business, he had a sustainable business. He had the revenue, he had the time, all of that kind of stuff. But he was still at the seed stage. There were some very important pieces that he did not have, but he had revenue. And although he had 5 buyers, he had 5 people that wanted to buy his business, they could not. He was not positioned to sell his business, although he had 5 buyers. And so the work that I had to do with him, it was to help position him so that he could get to a place where he could sell his business, but he was 83 years old.
Right. So that's disheartening for several reasons, because oftentimes a deal will fall through because you have no process, no recorded processes and procedures. One, finances, financial documentation. 2, and then no one really knows how well you offered your service or not, because you weren't consistent on doing any customer satisfaction or reputation management activities.
Absolutely.
So a couple of the people that we collaborate with or the industries that we collaborate with, and we've found that it's worked very well for us, are business brokers, business attorneys, tax attorneys, CPAs,
mergers and acquisition.
And mergers and acquisition. And I believe we're positioned with them very strategically, because oftentimes they are working with clients that are ready to retire. And they need to understand their options. And when I say retire, you know, because again, everybody hates the word exit. I really don't understand why. But, you know, at some point in time, you eventually go into something else. So you have to appreciate it. So anyway, and we're called in to help make those transitions oftentimes. So kudos to our collaboratives.
Our Red Champions. They're awesome.
Yeah, they really are.
Awesome. So but I want to take a step back for a moment and just talk about, because I'm a master business coach. Reggi is a master business coach. We coach businesses to sustainability, growth, profitability, and legacy. And one of the things that I'm always thinking about, and if you have an answer, put it in the chat. You know, put it in the comments, because I'm just curious. One of the things, you know, we're big sports enthusiasts in this country. And we understand that Kobe Bryant had a coach, Michael Jordan had a coach, my Detroit Red Wings, they have a coach, my Detroit Pistons have a coach, my Detroit Lions have a coach. You notice I said all the Michigan teams. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're in Texas now. Yes.
But we understand that in sports, you need a coach.
That's right.
Period. There's no way to get to success without it. But for whatever reason, when we go into business, we think we are supposed to know all of it. We have coaches.
Right.
We're business coaches, but we have coaches. And so I'm just curious as to why if you don't have a coach, why don't you have a coach? Just, put it in the comments. Why is it that you don't have coach? Is it because you don't think it's necessary? Is it the cost of coaching? Is it like what's the reason why you don't have a coach if you are in business? Because coaching is important, personal development is important, but accountability is also important in business. And if you don't have those things, if you're not, your business can only grow as far as you're willing to grow.
Right.
And you need somebody to keep you accountable. And your homegirl, your homeboy, or whoever, they can keep you accountable, but only to a certain point, because that's not what they do every day. Is build.
So I'm going to jump in on that.
Come on.
So accountability. If you're in business, you need someone to understand business. You can't have your girlfriend, your hangout partner, be your accountability partner. And oftentimes you can't have your sister, brother, mother, father as your accountability partner if they've never been in business before. Right. You have to allow people to remain in that certain, you have to silo people to a certain degree, because my mother is not going, she's going to help me be accountable for being a good person and all the things that she was sent to do initially. But when it comes to business, I need to have somebody who's achieved what I have achieved and or more.
Now you're talking something.
And or more, because you don't know what I'm to be accountable for if you haven't been there before, right? So it's very important. And in every stage of my life, whether I had a coach that I paid and or a person that I allowed coach me and they didn't even know that they were my coach, because there's so many things that are on YouTube that are good. However, at every growth stage of my life, I had to tap into somebody else. I really did. And so it's real important that so accountability, even in Red Development, in starting and launching, the women that came along beside of me, if I had not had them, initially it was three of us, and now there's two. But we have complementary
skills.
Well, skills, and then our businesses complement. So we're still joined and doing different ventures. But anyway, nonetheless. But the important thing there is that in that I was coming out of one business and into another business very wounded. So what I was doing that would have been okay, it wasn't enough. There was more in me to do. And finally, she had to call me to task, like, come, where are you? So accountability is very, very, and it wasn't just her, but it was also Dr. Marie Holiday, who called me aside, and I respect that and I honor that. And, one thing we were talking about early is making sure that whatever different revenue streams you have, that there are things that are companion businesses. However, I will say my mentor, Dr. Marie Holiday, she is in 5 different industries. Okay, I'm still learning. I'm still learning. Okay, I am in possibly 2 different industries, but I have things that complement each other. But this woman, and I'm just gonna give her a plug. So this woman, African American woman, with all of her businesses located in downtown Fort Worth, on or 0.25 miles off of Main Street. 5 businesses. I just don't know anybody else. So if you guys do know another African American woman with 5 different businesses in different industries, with her company in downtown, anywhere,
major downtown metro,
let me know. So anyway, that has been a coach, but it's been people like that have just been really like, okay, where are you and what are you doing?
And I think so. Talking about mentorship is something near and dear to my heart, because a lot of times, especially, one of the questions that I get asked quite often, more recently, just because of the state of where we are in the world right now. And I have my friends who are Asian or white or, whatever, that say, Collette, how can we help? What can we do? And I think this goes for everybody. And one of my most immediate answers is you can open the door.
Mm-hmm.
Because the truth is, as an African American woman, I understand that there are some doors that are closed to my Asian friends or white friends or Hispanic friends, and vice versa. And being responsible for your community means opening the door. And if you have a mentor who's not opening the door, is that really your mentor? Your mentor helps you to get into spaces and places that you otherwise wouldn't have access to.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because they've been there.
Mm-hmm.
They've conquered the terrain and they're taking you along
Mm-hmm.
with them.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I say all the time is in entrepreneurship and business ownership, there are no elevators, there are only stairs, and everybody has to take them. It doesn't matter how much money you come into the game with, you still have to take the stairs, period. Now, you might be able to jump 2 stairs where I can only go 1, but if I got a mentor, I can go 3 stairs at a time, regardless of how much money I have.
That's right.
Because they're opening doors for me. And not only are they opening, they're holding me accountable.
Right.
And so making sure that you have the people around you who are not going to just rah-rah you. They're not going to just be your cheerleader, but they're going to be so much of your cheerleader and your number one fan club member that they will call you on the carpet when you are acting outside of yourself or you are not living up to your greatness and your potential. Because my personal belief is that as a business owner, especially, and so now I'm going to talk straight to you guys and ladies who have master's degrees, you have 20 or 30 years of experience in your field. I'm talking to you. Once you get to that point in your life, in your career, it is not time for you to go find a job anymore. It is time for you to go create jobs. And in order to do that, you have to first understand that you cannot do it by yourself. Right. And that you have to find a team of people that you can tell the vision and write the vision and show the vision to, who will champion the vision and help you move it forward. That's the key to growing your business. Nothing great happened by the hands of one person. It happened as a collective and a collaborative. And so if you have a master's degree, if you have, you've got 20 years plus of experience, and God forbid you're out of work now, go create work. First, create it for yourself. Write your plan and then create it for others to come alongside of you and help you to bring the greatness forth in the world. And here's what I want you to know for those who will come alongside of those who create work. Those who come alongside, those of you who will come alongside, those of us who are creating work, and those of us who are creating work, we need to understand that those who come alongside you have greatness. Do not miss it. It is your responsibility to figure out what it is and make sure they're in the right place inside of your company to allow that to grow, to nurture it, and to allow them to expand it. The greatest compliment to a real leader and a real mentor is that you grow to a place where you've left my company because you've gone on to do your own thing, because you've learned so much here that you know that staying inside of these walls is limiting you. Right. That is, it's important that we know that. And if you're in a place, if you're unemployed right now and you don't have a job and you're looking for one, find one that will tap into your greatness. Don't find another one that you hate going to on Monday. You're excited on Wednesday about Friday, and then Friday comes and you stress out about Monday. So you never really enjoy the weekend anyway. You have absolute choice in finding what you're looking for, finding what feeds your heart, finding what feeds you as a person, finding what allows you to be the greatness that you are. And guess what else? Stop complaining about yourself and beating yourself up about that thing that you think is the bad thing about you. Normally, that bad thing is the absolute key to your greatness. And it's the reason why you had it. You have it.
Right. Yeah. And I want to say this, you're talking about the bad thing. I think, especially in this time and era in our life, I think business owners need to really be still, because what we think is a problem, we could very well have the solution.
Yes.
But if we're not still, we'll never be able to identify that. And I really believe everything a person needs, they already have it.
Oh my God. You have been who you are your entire life. I see, is it Terry Willis
Yes.
who asked about whether or not we work with nonprofits? Absolutely. Our work with nonprofits is different. We work differently. At Red Development Group, we are all about being innovative and finding a different way to get it done. And one of those things that we're doing that we are so excited about, and so we hope that if you know somebody, you will refer them to Red Development Group because we're so excited about it. We are starting the hashtag Red Force.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
yes.
And so what the Red Force is our annual internship program.
Yes.
And it's an internship program for college juniors, seniors, recent graduates. It doesn't matter if they graduated with their bachelor's, their master's, their
PhD.
doctorate, whatever. We have an internship for them to come and work alongside entrepreneurs in the grind every day, learn some amazing skills.
Yes.
This internship is not about them pushing paper. That's not what this is about. This is about them coming into an organization and being great at what they're great at and sharpening those skills alongside other people who are going to hold them accountable and make sure that they remain great and get better. And so when they leave us, they go into the workforce so much greater and so much grander and so much bigger and standing confidently in the greatness that is them. Because they had an opportunity to hang out with us.
You know, and that's our give back.
That's our give back.
Because, and the reason why I say it's our give back is because this year alone, you have more 2020 graduates that feel like they have no place to go. And so if they come by Red, they will be absolutely ready for the job when it comes.
And some of them won't be looking for a job when they get done.
We won't want them to
So, some of them won't be looking for a job because they're just gonna stay with Red, or they go, you know what, I can do this, and they're gonna strike out on their own and start their own businesses. So if you can't tell, we're excited. And so if you know anybody who is a college junior or senior or recent college grad at any level, bachelor's or above, tell them to go to redwomen.win and apply, because our application is going to close really soon. We have some fantastic candidates that we are really excited about meeting and talking to and learning more about. And this interview process is going to be different because we don't like to do the status quo. But the other thing is, it's not just Red that's in this thing.
No.
Our champions have joined us. So we have other business owners that are excited about working with college grads. And so guess what? If Red's not the place where you express your greatness, you know what? Catherine the Pinion Group might be the place. Or Ask Kirk Lockhart might be the place, or Selling in a Skirt might be a place, or Sisters in Business might be a place, or Tap the Mic Radio might be a place. There's so many more.
You know, and I don't want people to think that you have to be a certain age, because some of those applicants were over 22. Some of them were over 30. So, you know, please don't think that it's just college graduate and you know, you have to be a young person. That's not necessarily true.
Age doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
If you just, let me tell you something. If you just got your master's degree and you are 86 years old and you want to put that to work, come on down and let us talk to you and see what we can work, what we can do.
So another thing that we have coming up is the boot camp, the MBA for CEOs. Now, MBA doesn't stand for MBA. It stands for Mastering Business Applications for CEOs. And we host that 4 times a year. And the next one will be in Atlanta, July the 29th through August the 1st.
Through July. No,
July 29th.
Atlanta. It will be in Atlanta, July 29th. July 29th through July 31st.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay,
we're staying in Atlanta a little longer, so therefore, sorry. Okay, so yes, but we would love to see you there, and that is for CEOs and aspiring CEOs.
And your teams.
And your teams, And you don't have to just be in Atlanta. We have some people that are flying in that missed the Dallas class here that was in January. they'll be coming to Atlanta, if all things are go. But if they're not, we're still gonna have it, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So it's that 3-day boot camp is all about that plan we were talking about earlier, that strategic plan.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter if you're for-profit or nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
That strategic plan we were talking about earlier, it's about being in a room for 3 grueling days of fun and excitement and being tired and your brain seeping out of your ears at the end of the day with you and 2 of your team members and a whole bunch of other business owners and their team members. And by the way, there's only 15 slots. So you gotta get in when you can get in, but being there with your team and in that space with the synergy and the movement of all of these other entrepreneurs and business owners thinking and brainwaves going and building out these strategies so that they win by the end of their year. Right. That's what that's all about.
And you leave with something.
Yeah.
You don't leave being confused or feeling like you have to go home and study again. You leave with the tool that you need to operate your business for the next year. And I think that's one thing that we were very intentional about when we were developing Red Development Group, is that we wanted to make sure we had the resources and the tools.
Yes.
So once we hear what your concern or problem is, we have the prescription.
Yes. Yes.
We focus on business literacy. And so it comes from years of being in business and not really having the tool that I felt like I needed, that she felt like she needed. So we have what you need. Yeah. You just have to make sure you tap into it.
Absolutely. I like that. You got to tap into it.
And
here's the thing. When you leave this boot camp, you leave with a 300 to 400 page document that you and your team have created over that period of time. Well, you don't leave with it that day because we turn it into an actual electronic ebook for you and your team so that you can print it and your team can look at it on a regular basis, use it in your meetings to make sure that you all are on task and on purpose about what you're doing.
Right.
But you walk away with a document that you can use to move your business forward. And Terry asked us a question again. Yes, Terry, we do use Zoom. We're an international business development firm. And so we have clients that are in other countries and we use Zoom. And sometimes, my client in Japan is a struggle.
Right.
Because
time alone is a struggle.
We go back and forth. So either it's her time and I'm sleepy, it is my time and she's sleepy, either way. But yes, we will virtually coach our clients, but we also have some opportunities where we have our clients come in into our office here in Fort Worth, Texas, to work with us, or sometimes our clients, if they just want to, they just do.
So let me make sure they understood that they can sign up, but then they get a chance to bring the opportunity to bring 2 of their team members.
Yes, for the boot camp. Right. Yes, and if we're your coach one-on-one, then you can bring your team members into the coaching sessions. It doesn't just have to be you, because we're really focused on developing you and helping you build dynamic teams that will help you win and that buy into your vision and they see their place in your vision, which is why they are there and why they will work, not just for you, but with you and for themselves. So we've got that coming up. We also have our Red Business Women's newsletter that goes out on the 15th. And so if you would like to get that, we got some amazing contributors for that.
And so that goes out every 15th. So there's already 2 editions out.
Yes. And so we've got Precious Williams, the killer pitch master. I challenge anybody to challenge her. I think she's gonna win, but she's one of our contributors. We've got Kirk Lockhart, who is the SEO guru. If Google Red Development Group or Google Collette Portis, he is the reason that happens when you Google us or Yelp or whatever. He's the guy who does that. We've got myself and Reggie. We've got Patience Rose, who is just dynamic when it comes to nonprofits. Did I miss
Judy
somebody?
Hoberman.
Oh,
Judy.
we've got Miss
Judy.
Judy Hoberman,
Mhm.
sales and leadership expert,
Yes.
owner of Selling in a Skirt and
Right.
Walking on the Glass Floor.
She also did a TEDx.
She is one
She
of
is
the,
phenomenal.
yes, she's one of the
Mhm.
most watched TEDx speakers.
Mhm.
Phenomenal. And one of the things we were on purpose about with this newsletter is all of our articles for each of the individuals no more than 250 words. You know why? It's a long Facebook post. We don't have time to read. You know, it was hard to get back to read that really good article that we really believe is really good. We just didn't ever have time to do it. And so some of us do videos and some of us do really short articles, but it's because they're so short, they give you jewels really quickly.
Right.
But it is really great information. So if you are interested in being added to that, you can go to redwomen.win or reddevelopmentgroup.com and go to our contact page and shoot us a message or send us a message on inbox here to say you want to be added to that list so that you can get that on the 15th.
That's right. And so my topic, and it's going to remain my topic until I feel like people get it. Okay. I'm doing like my daddy did when he was trying to teach me something. So my topic is on legacy matters. And until people understand the importance of legacy, I'm not going to let up.
Don't let up. No, because legacy is important.
It's absolutely
Legacy
important.
is important. So we've got some really great stuff
Mhm.
going on. You can connect with us on LinkedIn where you'll see a lot of our good stuff. The internship announcements are also on LinkedIn as well as on Facebook also. And so we're ready. We're here to help. We're ready to help you grow and build. We're helping you get your time back. For those women who are mothers, we're helping you to get time back so you can spend time with your family. For entrepreneurs and business owners, we're helping you to understand how to incorporate your family into your business. We're helping you to have conversations with your family so they understand what you're doing, so there's not that resentment and you don't have to manage that guilt and things like that, and they're excited for you and they're telling other people about you and what you do. And we're helping you to build your collaborative partnerships, because I don't know where we would be without our collaborative partners like Tarrant County College and University of Texas Arlington and Frost Bank. And I mean, we have some the Better Business Bureau of North Texas,
the Balch Springs Chamber of
the
Commerce.
Balch Springs Chamber of
Commerce.
Commerce.
Let me just say this. I have been members of at least 3 different chambers at one time, right? I mean, throughout my life. And what I love about, and all of them were wonderful chambers, but what I absolutely love about the Balch Springs Chamber of Commerce, they are determined that the entire city of Balch Springs will be an economic force to be reckoned with.
Oh my gosh.
And so the previous mayor sat in on our MBA for CEOs.
Yeah.
And
Miss Carrie Washington.
And
Marshall. Miss Carrie Marshall, we love her.
I'm normally the one that does not do well with names. However, I got her back. But I mean, so I highly respect them.
Yeah.
And especially in this day and time, they get it. They understand that it's not a lunch and learn that you need to have. Their members or their clients are business owners.
Yes.
And so they came to an organization that would provide them with what their business owners needed.
Yes.
And that is business development. So,
yes.
You know, and I will also say this too about this time that we're in. Before COVID, last September, October, November, when I would make phone calls or reach out to people to talk to them about Red Development Group and what we had going on, there was very little conversation. But now I absolutely, and I enjoyed it then, but now when I make certain phone calls, they are willing to sit, talk, have a one-on-one so we can innovatively create something for business owners and for their clients. I am absolutely loving it.
Yeah. Well, and since you bring that up, for those of you who are either chamber members or you are in leadership at a chamber, we have been working with local chambers because the truth is, because of this pandemic, even our chambers have not really known what to do. They've not really known what to do and how to help our business owners. So we have been partnering with and coming alongside our chambers to be the answer to what to do and to help our chambers, not just, bring you some, resources and maybe some supplies or something like that, but to get you to a place where you have jump-started your business and it is moving forward, because that is what we do every day. And so I am proud of us that we're doing that. And so if you're a chamber and you want to know how we can help you, help your members, and speaking of Alvester Gibson over at the Bulk Springs Chamber, we're having conversations with him all the time about this is what we can do, and sponsoring events that are important, and working with the economic development department in Bulk Springs, and doing so many things because small business is 98% of the business in the US. Right. And so if we fail, we all fail. And so we have to do better at surviving, and not just surviving, it's about thriving. Right. And so how do you do that? And we want to be this, when you come to Red Development, we want to be the place where you stop hearing all of the cliche stuff, all of the stuff that really doesn't mean anything and doesn't have any steps that come with it. We want to be the organization, we want to be the company, we want to be the team that really helps you get results. And as a result of it, our clients, and we're willing to give references. Our clients have doubled their revenue in 10 months. Our clients have increased the value of their business by 71%. We've gotten some real results. I will tell you, the work is not easy, but the work is very rewarding.
Well, and for those organizations, whether they have grant dollars or sponsorship dollars, what we have that's different than most business development firms is that we can track results. We have the technology and the data to track what it is that we've done and what we continue to do. But one thing I will say, because we can't hold the people forever, I don't know what time it is, but one thing I will say, in the development of Red Development Group, our purpose was to be best in class and to provide business literacy for business owners, regardless if you are a business owner, enterprise owner, or you are set to be an institution before you leave this earth. That was our intention.
Absolutely. And we're dogmatic about it. We don't want to see anybody that's connected with us that cross our path fail. And so if you have questions, if you want to connect with us, you can do that here on Facebook. You can do that on LinkedIn. We have a YouTube channel where we've got some really great webinars on there that you can watch. That gives you some really great information. You can contact us at redwomen.win online or reddevelopmentgroup.com. You can send us a message on our contact form. However, whatever you need to do, we want to help you thrive, minus the guilt, and be happy about what you do every day, and be able to go to sleep at the end of the night knowing that you've created an imprint and made an impact on those who have come into contact with you. And so this has been really good.
I think so.
I enjoyed it. We hope that you all enjoyed it. I always enjoy it. So we're here. We're here to help. Don't be afraid to ask any questions. We're willing to answer the questions that you have. And
I think it's very important that they follow us on, and I know she said it before, but with the Red Force coming, we have some things planned for them to do, and you are going to be excited to find out about the different activities and what we're doing. So I just, we hired them on June 15th.
June 15th
And
is
so
the
shortly
goal.
after,
Watch
just,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So make sure you stay tuned via Facebook and or LinkedIn,
Mhm.
because we are going to be doing some exciting, we all already are
Yeah.
doing exciting things, but just wait until those young people come and help us out.
No. And then you can find any of this information, Red Force information about the boot camp, all of that
Yeah.
kind of stuff at, again, redwomen.win or reddevelopmentgroup.com. And please, if you know a college junior, senior, or somebody who's a recent graduate with their bachelor's, master's, or doctorate degree, tell them that we're
Yes.
here to help them sharpen their skills so that they stand out. Their resume will be different than the rest of the resumes in the stack, because we are going to be on purpose about helping them to sharpen their skills.
Right.
So,
Okay.
y'all, we got to go to Bible study. So
That's
we
right.
gotta go.
Look,
Yeah.
we got to.
I know the good bishop is nice and revved up right about now. So we gotta go.
Yes, but it was wonderful. I enjoyed the time.
Yeah, thank you for hanging out with
Yeah,
me.
you're welcome.
So thank you all for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
Again, I am Collette Portis with Red Development Group,
And
my
I am-
amazing partner.
Yes, I am Reggie Sturns-Kemp, and you know what? We look forward to hearing from you.
Yes. Very soon.
Yeah, we do.
Until next time,
Toodles.
have an amazing, amazing, amazing night.